The concept of Eastern women, even Middle Eastern women or women of the
Mhm.
East versus Western women, right? United
Mhm.
States, EU, you're from London. I feel like you
Yeah.
have a very good grasp of the polarity of the type of upbringing or the societal effects that women are exposed to in the United States, London,
Mhm.
EU, those side of things, versus you've spent time in Dubai, you have Pakistani origins. What have
Yeah.
you realized the differences between an Eastern woman and a Western woman in today's society?
Um, firstly, what I would say, unfortunately, I feel like it's all becoming merged. The advent of social media has had many positive things, but one of the things that it has done recently is it stripped people of their culture because now what's happening is TikTok and Instagram is dictating the world kind of morals, and Netflix is kind of turning women quite similar. They're all starting to become more similar, and you'll see women in like that cultures where they have no problem. They were totally fine with the way they were before, but they now become feminist or they now become sexually liberal, and that they weren't raised in that way. So I think it is changing. It's a little bit difficult for me because I actually come from a Muslim background, and that's completely different to perhaps a different kind of Eastern woman. But what I would say the key difference is, from what I've seen, is with my culture, I can only speak for myself. With my culture, your man is seen as somebody you love and want to dedicate yourself to and spend the rest of your life dedicated to. Whereas in Western culture, you're almost competing with your partners. And I feel like there is no joy in submitting and actually being codependent in Western cultures, where there is a level of joy and like actual satisfaction from understanding that my man does this for me and I do that for him, and together we have this hybrid and we are in sync. Whereas in West, I feel like they don't really like that concept. I think they do deep down, but they wouldn't vocalize it. So I think that's the key thing that I see different. Like I see, for me personally, I would always ask, like, let my partner know where I'm going, what time I'm going, coming back, what I'm wearing. I do run things past him, and I take joy in the fact that he will direct me in certain ways. Whereas in Western culture, it seems a bit like him having any say in your life is negative rather than seeing it as we have now created one life together. So why not have a say in each other's world?
Gotcha. And have you deviated because you've spent time in both cultures? Have
Mhm,
you seen your mind shift change? You said that you're Muslim, but
mhm.
being in London and obviously being on Instagram,
Yeah.
how's that affected you personally?
For me personally, it's difficult because I want to be more in line with my faith. I wish I was more in line with my faith. But the reality is, people only listen to you when they like the look of you. And that doesn't mean you have to be super attractive. It just means that you have to look familiar. You have to look like somebody that they can relate to. And
Mm.
with my religion, it is quite alien to the Western world. And I know that it would really limit my scope and the amount of people I could reach. And so I do understand that it is limited. And also my own vanity. My own vanity is one of the reasons why I kind of am especially appearance wise, was definitely far more Western. But it's difficult. What I found really difficult about being this way is that on the outside, I look like I'd be extremely Western. So I'd only attract Western men and I would only attract Western kind of friends and so on and so forth. But when you get to know me, my moral compass and my values are very traditional. And it would be really difficult for men to make sense of that because they would think I'd be really cool about a lot of things and I'd be really liberal and really independent. But really, I'm quite extremely traditional. So I think it led to a lot of difficult interactions for me personally growing up a lot.
Yeah, the circling back to what you said before, the Eastern versus Western women, and I think this is a
Mhm,
big concept these days because a lot of which we'll talk about, whether I have discussions with Andrew Tate or Fresh and Fit, or even on with Patrick Bet David, who is from Iran. This concept of Eastern and Western women and who's better and
mhm,
is something that is constantly discussed. But you use two verbs when describing the difference between Eastern and Western women. You said that in the West, they are competing with their significant other, whereas in the East, they tend to be more submitting to their
mhm.
man. So break
Or at
down the
least codependent. I
competition.
would say at least codependent. If not submissive, at least codependent. We enjoy
Mm.
being somewhat dependent on our partner.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
what's wrong? Like, what are the negative consequences of a woman trying to compete with her man in a relationship?
The main problem I would say from a relationship perspective is when you act like equals, it's all fun and games until you're fighting.
Mhm.
And what happens when you're fighting as equals, when you're actually men and women, is that you forget you're completely different. So on a day to day, you can be equal. It's fine. You go to work, you come back, chores can be equal. But when you start getting into the mindset we're the same, when it comes to fighting, the man and women go at each other like they're the same, but they're not the same, especially in conflict. And in that moment, a man really still wants respect, and he wants to, and she will forget that this is the man that looks after me, and this is
Hmm.
my man, and he needs me to be respectful of my time. And in that moment, woman still wants to be nurtured, even when they're being fight. They want him to go soften him and recognize she's getting upset and slow down and give her a kiss in the middle. And he'll forget that because they are thinking they're equals even during conflict, and they think that they have equal needs in a conflict when they don't. Even if your day-to-day life is equal, when it comes to conflict, if you forget gender roles, it can escalate very quickly. And that's where I think the negative comes into play.
So when there's
No, just a quick note.
yeah.
We're getting a lot of comments that the audio is bad. We've tested this before we started the show. Unfortunately, the microphone on her end isn't the best, but I hope that the content is still great. I'm loving the conversation, but just to get everybody's questions because the comments are coming in, the audio, the audio, the audio.
Okay.
So just to let the audience knows, we know, and we already tried troubleshooting a bunch of things, but unfortunately, that's the microphone that's on Sadia's end, but.
Is
We'll
it,
keep going with the
I can
combo.
is this any better or is it the same?
So now you're a little bit clearer, but the buzz is still there.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness me. I'm so sorry. I really apologize. I'll try and be a little bit louder.
Mhm.
Would being louder help, or is it going to be the same?
I think that's better.
That sounds good. It's just a
Okay.
buzz that they're hearing, but it's okay. I just want to let everybody know because they're
Yeah.
commenting, and so
Guys, listen.
everybody
All
knows.
right, we're
Yes.
here in Florida. Sadia's in London. We're doing a
I'm
Zoom
so
over here.
Yes.
Okay. So like
sorry.
just bear with us. We appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you bearing with some of the
Yes.
by the way, we hear it in our ear. I don't know if Sadia hears it in her ear, but just
We're
just
working
roll
through
with
it.
us, okay?
Yes. There's
By
not
the
a
way,
mess
I'm
up.
having a cocktail real quick. I don't know if Sadia, do you
Cheers.
drink as a Muslim woman?
I don't know. I've never
Oh.
tried alcohol.
Never
Oh,
in your
that's a
life?
good thing.
Never in my
Wow.
life, not even by
Wow.
accident.
Oh.
Wow. Well, can I give
Yeah.
you a virtual cheers of
Yes.
alcohol, pretending that you're having one right now? By the way, in your religion, if you drank alcohol, what would happen to you?
There's not a clear consequence for drinking alcohol. It's more just a case of it started with try not to drink because it will make your prayers a bit more sloppy. Then it became like try not to drink. There's a lot of harm in it in terms of your body. And then it was just like, okay, we actually need to stop drinking because from drinking comes all the other sins.
Right.
So if you break that one, hopefully some of the other ones will lessen.
Now,
Is the
what
consequence.
type of sins? Because
Uh-oh.
little about me. Born and raised in Miami Beach, South Beach. I've been in the nightlife business. I've owned bars. I've owned restaurants.
Yeah.
Or I've worked in restaurants. I have bars. I have given women many a drinks during my day, and they have done many a sins. Let's just say, due to the alcohol. Thank you. So, when you're saying that a woman would sin, what does that mean in terms of alcohol?
Or men and women, I would say it goes to both. But I can't speak on everyone's behalf, but I would imagine that I know how many things I regret in a sober state in terms of my temper and all this stuff. So I can't, if all my emotions were heightened, I can only imagine it would lead to a plethora of other kind of regrets. I'm sure there's lots of fun to be had. I can't say because I've never drank, but I'm sure there's loads of fun to be had. But everything comes at a cost. So I'm guessing there's lots of regrets. And I
Wow.
would imagine they're more, because alcohol is consumed in usually a party environment, I would imagine they're more sexual sins or like temper sins or something like along those
Yes.
lines.
Nat, could you imagine?
Yes.
She's never drank.
Yeah.
I mean, you're having a
It's
cocktail
okay.
right
It's
now,
not a
little
bad
sinner
thing, though.
girl.
Yes. It's
What?
okay. I drink at church when I drink the body of Christ.
She
So
drinks at church. Okay.
I'm Catholic.
So Sadia, I want to open up this conversation, talk about dating in general. Okay. You're a Muslim woman. I'm a Jewish guy. Natalia, you're
Catholic.
Catholic. Okay. So we have a Jew, a Muslim, and a Catholic sitting here.
Welcome to my course on masculinity, and in this course not only will I be able to completely transform your understanding of women, but on a more personal level you will enhance your self-esteem, self-respect, and your boundaries. The goal of this course is to take a man that has absolutely fantastic intentions, wants to find love, wants to commit, wants to have a good healthy relationship, but is finding that he's constantly running into women who are narcissistic, who are disrespectful, who are disloyal. Now, if you are finding that continuously, then there must be something in your engagement with women that is causing this. What my course will do is look at where this problem comes from, how to resolve it, how to communicate effectively with men and women, and how to command respect. Most importantly, how to improve your self-respect. And throughout the course, you'll be given interactive sessions, but with course materials to help you channel and journal your learning. So if you are interested in becoming the most masculine version of yourself, join today.